Hello, I'm cubicmatere, and what I have behind me is something I like to call the Fuel Efficient Furnace Array, or FEFA64. There will be a world download and schematic link in description. This was, and a block by block tutorial coming up. This was originally inspired by a array from cubicmatere. I'll also have his video linked in the description as well. And basically, this is your average, well, not average, I would say 64 furnace array. Okay, so what is so special about this one? Well, I wanted one that was easily accessible for early game. You know, like maybe you have a few stacks of items to smelt, or maybe you just have like 12, and you know, doesn't just eat like a stack of fuel. Literally, no matter how many items you smelt. And so basically, if I were to get some diamonds here, and I'll just put in a stack. So what it detects, okay. So it's first going to check to see if there's anything in the cart, and then if this lever is switched, you can keep it on, and it will keep going back and forth until, obviously here there's not going to do that, but I'll show you. So you see I have 3 stacks in there. It's going to keep going back and forth until all of those are done. I could turn off the lever as well. That is the fuel cart running in the other direction. They do bump each other sometimes, but that doesn't happen that much, and it isn't an issue I've tested. They run parallel, so you will never run out of fuel. Here I do have the input down here. This is from an earlier test, that won't happen. Here is the input, and you can manually send the fuel cart if you feel like it's getting a little low. Okay, how fast does it smelt and return a stack? That's what we want to know. So let's look in here, and we can count the amount of seconds. So it is a 64 furnace array, so it'll be that same speed, about whether you're smelting a stack or 64 stacks. And the cool thing about it is that each of the fuel lines shuts themselves off when they're full, so we're not just using it. So you can just smelt like 12 raw pork chops. I'll do that. I know that you saw me earlier standing up here at the water. Believe it or not, this is a feature because you might not want to wait for it to go in the chest. So just stand here, you can collect it all yourself. Obviously there is some deficit. Okay, well, I didn't get them all. Obviously, like if I don't cook anything else after here, there's going to be 12. These first 12 here are going to use their fuel. And we can send the cart manually as well. Like, for instance, you can put it in through this chest. I just didn't do that here. And it'll go around and fuel it up. These will lock it when they have fuel. And so now we should see that since it is all fueled up, it should not take any from the minecart. Okay, well, I don't think it was fully fueled up. It does take a couple go-arounds sometimes because, you know, obviously only one can come out of here at any given time. But I do promise you that that works. I have done thorough testing. Yeah, see. And, okay, so I'm going to go over a bit more of how this works in a minute, but I want to demonstrate something real quick. The basic principles you have in play for a super smelter or any kind of furnace system, you have input, fuel input, and output. And there's lots of delays. There's input delay, output delay, cooking time delay. That's why you will never see one faster than, say, like 20 seconds, because it's how long you have to cook it for. The fuel input doesn't really matter how fast it is, as long as you're making sure that it doesn't run out. Right, so each of these, like I was just mentioning, each of these takes time. And we've done something to try and minimize all of this. You add multiple furnaces so that more can be cooked at once. You try to optimize how fast they get to the furnace, how fast they get back to you. And I will point out what I do for all of that. You can see under here, each individual half of this has its own water elevator. And I did water elevators and droppers because it can travel faster that way. There is 2 chambers. And now adding it like this had to drop down a block, but I did consider, you know, having to go back up a block, versus if I had just done one stream, higher speed increase than it would have been. Because now we can get 2 at once in their chest. So it returns quicker. So that is the item output delay. For the item input delay, we have your generic powered rail going around. We do run them parallel for the fuel as well, which does decrease that. There is also levers, so you can pause this and take out stuff. It's only on one side, I know. For XP, there's of course this little part here. This might look like this is a mistake. Like I just put the hopper there. No, not at all. Yeah. So, what do we also have, if I can manage to get in, one thing you'll notice for these water pathways is that I have to put a gate every, I think, 8 blocks. So, what do? Because it can't just dispense down there, it won't move. We dispense into this one. So I've seen a lot of designs that will move it this way and then pull it up, and the output is at the top. Or they'll do it the way I have it, but the output is still at the top, because they can put like copper mine clips up here and it can get in the chest faster. We do have that trade-off here, but what you do gain is that it's obviously a lot closer to the output, and the same with the fuel because it goes down. So this is a reverse in that way. but it is pretty cool. Alright, so I do have the block by block recorded. Let me know if anyone wants that, and we will go ahead and release it in our next video.